Every generation has seen fighters rise, but most of them fall.
Hi there from Nakatani. And he chases him down.
And when the dust settles,
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last. And
to you in your career, the monster?
Naoya, I like Naoya. Before he became, I teach him in Japan.
Really?
Yeah. And Naoya, if he's thinking to moving up in weight division, I hope that I can teach him and supervise his workout and training, and we can do that.
So you want to train him?
I wanna train him and supervise his training, or if he wants to moving up to higher weight division.
What did you think about his last performance?
Huh?
What did you think about his last performance?
Oh, fantastic! And, it's a good performance, fast, quick, strong.
What's your message to Naoya Inoue if he's watching?
Oh, congratulations to your last fight, and keep up the good. So it's not like that. It's not like that. You have to go.
So 下に行ってください。そうすると、でもこういう感じ。
Naoya Inoue is all set to clash with Junto Nakatani in what is going to be the biggest fight in Japanese boxing history. The undisputed super bantamweight champion will look to put up a stellar show and stay undefeated as he takes on the fellow undefeated Junto Nakatani at the Tokyo Dome on May 2nd, 2026. Billed as the Battle of the Samurai, this is a blockbuster of a showdown featuring two of the sport's top pound-for-pound stars, with fans and experts eager to see who shines and comes out with the victory. One boxing legend has already picked Inoue in this fight. Manny Pacquiao had the opportunity to train Inoue in Japan and has no doubt that the 4-division world champion can beat any opponent, no matter how difficult the challenge is. However, sleeping on Junto Nakatani could prove to be a fatal mistake because he is probably the only one who can put an end to Inoue's stellar run. He's been training hard for this fight, and he's eager to show the world that no boxer is invincible.
The next station is Taganihara.
There's always been a debate about who has been the greater fighter between Inoue and Manny Pacquiao. Top Ronnie's Bob Arum has promoted both fighters, and he had a surprising thing to say about Inoue.
Do you see Inoue eclipsing the star power of a fighter as great as such as Manny Pacquiao?
I think he's a bigger star than Pacquiao because Pacquiao was more normal as a fighter, and Pacquiao struggled with opponents. He was a great fighter, Pacquiao, but again, he didn't have the same body of work that Inoue had.
Manny himself has praised Inoue countless times. He wants Inoue to succeed and conquer the lower weight divisions just like he did.
Do you still watch boxing now? Are you still into it? Do you enjoy watching boxing?
Yeah, because boxing is my passion, so that's why I'm enjoying watching boxing.
Do you have a favorite fighter now that's active?
Right now, Asian like Naoya Inoue,
amazing fighter.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, and I hope that he will accomplish in different weight division also.
Yeah, he probably will. Such a quality fighter.
In another interview, Manny revealed the reason why he admires Inoue so much. Besides being an Asian champion like him, Manny sees his younger self in Inoue. He revealed that Inoue was just like him, determined and conquering one division after another. He also offered to take the Japanese star under his wing and train and advise him full time.
Inoue, I'm proud of him. He's from Japan in Asia, in our place. So his style is like when I was young, like 15, like when I was 115, 122, 108. Inoue is he can fight in different division. If you want my advice on how to do what to do, I can give him advice.
You can get him to 8 divisions.
I don't know. 8 division is hard to accomplish with it.
There is a reason why Naoya Inoue is always compared to the Filipino boxing legend. During an interview with Ring Magazine's Max Kellerman, Manny Pacquiao finally broke the truth on the boxing lessons he gave Inoue all those years ago in Japan. Today, Inoue is a star because Manny had a major role to play in the pound-for-pound stars' rise through the divisions.
Everyone's looking for the next so-and-so, right? The next Manny Pacquiao. And the guy who's come closest to me is Inoue, the monster.
Inoue.
And you just asked me about Inoue. Are you a big fan of Inoue's?
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he fights.
Is he the closest thing to you? I'm not saying he's as great as you, but is he the closest thing to Pacquiao that we have in the game right now?
Oh, yeah, I can say that. Closest to me, because when he started, I went to Japan, and then he asked me about what the proper punches and techniques like that.
Well, he learned it well.
Yes.
Because he's been giving them the proper punching techniques.
Well, I told him that
4 divisions.
The most important in boxing is footwork. When you have footwork, then you can do a lot of things.
Right. Is that what Freddie gave you when you got to Wild Card? Did that take your game to the next level, the footwork?
The footwork is the best.
Because before Freddie, you were in and out, and then with Freddie, you started giving him more angles,
side
right?
By side, side by side. Head movement.
It was bad enough when it was just in and out with Manny. Once you started giving him angles, it was a problem. Manny.
Inoue is close to achieving legendary status, but there's still some way to go. On May 2nd, Inoue has a massive hurdle to cross as he fights for the undisputed Super Bantamweight Championship. Sean Zittel recently broke down the fight, comparing it to the legendary Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns rivalry. Despite some skepticism, they argue it is Japan's equivalent Super Bowl of boxing. Nakatani mirrors Hearns as the younger, taller, and devastating power puncher, while Inoue represents Leonard's superstar status and elite hand speed. They emphasize that both fighters are in their primes and bringing significant hardware to what is considered a definitive historical test for Japanese boxing dominance.
But I'm not coming here to box with Junto. I'm coming here to really make a statement and go through this guy. So that could either work for him or could work very much against him. But I think he understands I think both guys understand how big this fight is for their country and for boxing history. And I think I think it's going to be, Sean, what you initially prompted up to be when we did our first video, but last year, which is the Leonard Hearns of Japanese boxing.
I was getting there.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was getting there, and it's funny because I got a lot of pushback on that on Twitter and stuff. I think like, come on, you're gassing it up, right? Let me just start by saying I don't think Junto Nakatani is the caliber of Thomas Hearns, who, even though guys like Iran Barkley got to him, and it's like, you know, a pressure guy who took away some of his distance, like Hernandez Reyes against Nakatani. But here's the thing: heading into the first Leonard Hearns was a WBA welterweight champion. That was the accomplishment to his name, right? Leonard was a two-time welterweight champion, WBC. For comparison's sake, heading into this fight, Inoue is a four-division champion, two-time undisputed champion. Alongside Crawford and Usyk, the only guys to be two-time undisputed in the four-belt era. Nakatani unified at 118. He became the unified lineal bantamweight champion, and he captured a WBO title twice in two weight class previous to that.
Correct.
So technically, even though I think Inoue is more Leonard quite than Nakatani, it's close enough. And the point is, relative to Japanese boxing, it's their Leonard Hearns. And they're actually bringing in more hardware to their name heading into they're older.
Because they're deeper into their career. They're more into their career.
Right. Leonard and Hearns were 23 or 22 and 25 in age. Super fights don't happen anymore. But they're in the prime of their careers. And Nakatani, like Hearns, is the younger, taller, devastating puncher from the absolute outside. And Leonard, like Inoue, is the superstar, boxer, puncher, athletic extraordinaire.
Faster hands. Superior speed.
There you go. Although Hearns was fast as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, to be fair, but there's a lot of comparisons there, and I stand by that. Breaking down the fight, Zettel and his co-host had an interesting opinion on how this fight plays out. They noted that while Nakatani didn't look his most dominant recently, his power remains a significant threat, especially since Inoue may be less durable than previous opponents. They believe that two main scenarios could play out during the fight. Either both fighters exchange knockdowns leading to a stoppage, or Inoue's superior class and speed take over if he avoids early trouble. Zettel emphasizes that Inoue must be defensively sound against Nakatani's mechanical but dangerous style to secure victory.
Here, huge fight. You know, Junto's coming off a performance where, you know, he didn't look his normal dominant self. So there's a lot of questions about Junto going into this fight. But to be fair to Junto, Inoue is not as durable as Sebastian Hernandez Reyes. I think a lot of those combinations that he was lighting Sebastian Hernandez Reyes up with in the early rounds, Inoue probably, if Inoue gets hit with those same shots, he probably doesn't stand up as well to those shots. So I think this is an interesting fight, Sean, because I think early on in the first 3 to 4 rounds, if Inoue isn't defensively sound and he is too aggressive for his own good, he could taste the canvas in the first 3 to 4 rounds. But if he's able to navigate that, I think Junto's style is a bit more mechanical and predictable than, you know, some of the other guys he's been fighting. And I feel like the way it's going to go, Sean, is basically what I'm saying is either both guys are going to exchange a knockdown in this fight and someone will get stopped, or Inoue won't get dropped in the first 4 rounds, and I think the class will tell over time because of the speed advantage. What do you think?
I like that. I think those are two excellent scenarios you just laid out there.
Yeah.
And I think, if Nakatani were to win this fight, then this would be one of the all-time examples of styles really do make fights.
Right.
Because Hernandez Reyes isn't in the same galaxy as Naoya Inoue overall.
No.
Inoue would have handled someone like Hernandez, I think, in much more decisive fashion than Nakatani. He's a shorter fighter, more evened out frame throughout.
Yeah.
So Hernandez Reyes got underneath Nakatani after taking his best early, and it wouldn't have been as hard for Inoue to handle him, shortening up his shots.
supposedly, I don't want to cut you off, but supposedly Inoue sent Hernandez Reyes home in sparring because he was running through guys at the Ohashi gym. So allegedly, I wasn't there, but that's
Inoue is definitely going into this fight as the favorite, but ruling out Junto Nakatani is a massive mistake. Tim Bradley recently broke down Nakatani's bow and arrow boxing style, which relies on a dominant lead hand to control range and set up a powerful backhand. Bradley notes Nakatani uses a wide base to force opponents to reach, creating openings for counters. He emphasizes that Nakatani's success depends on maintaining distance and timing shots in between his opponent's combinations. Additionally, Bradley highlights Nakatani's cleverness in using a 45-degree angle to make punches travel further, and his habit of tying up opponents on the inside to reset momentum. Overall, he views Nakatani as a dangerous, rangy counterpuncher who thrives on reach and timing.
Look, you remember that knockout that Nakatani did against Maloney? Yeah, man, something like that can happen. You know, I noticed that even though, like, Nakatani, he has a type of style where, you know, he's like, I don't know, it's like he's born like a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? Like, you give a person a bow and arrow, and he pull that thing back and let released, and then, you know, then take off and run and try to hide behind something, you know, and pull that bow and arrow back and release. That's the style that, like, for me, Nakatani has. You know, he has that fencing type of style up front where he uses that lead hand to control distance and range and to win that lead hand battle, to be able to set up that bow and arrow backhand that he got where he can throw it straight, he can throw it underneath. He has various ways, man, in throwing that shot. I see him also do like an inside slip and a body shot off a right hand where he'll slip inside of the right hand and throw a body shot at the same time. I seen him loop it and go to his right. You know, I seen straight lefts down the middle, but everything is all predicated off that lead hand and if he can draw his opponent in. And I noticed that he keeps that wide base because he wants his opponents to have to reach. That's what he wants. He wants you to reach so he can teach. So that wide base, that puts his head a little bit further back and his body a little further back, and then you got to deal with that front leg, that front foot. And then when you try to step on that angle, and the funny part is he'll give you that outside position. Nakatani will give you that outside position. That's fine. He doesn't mind that at all because he understands stepping in a 45-degree angle to make that right hand have to travel a little bit further, stepping in a small little angle, 45 degrees, to make that right hand reach a little bit longer. And then that's when he counters you while you're lunging in or, as you're coming in. Then he counters you.
Bradley, however, doesn't rule out Inoue and provided a blueprint as to how Inoue adjusts to Nakatani's style. Bradley highlights Inoue's elite adaptability and athleticism, noting that he constantly adjusts his style to fit his opponent. Bradley admires Inoue's ability to box from his toes like Muhammad Ali or mimic Floyd Mayweather's defensive prowess. He specifically praises Inoue's ferocious combination punching, especially against southpaws, where he seamlessly integrates lefts and rights. However, Bradley points out a significant habit. Inoue occasionally crosses his feet while closing distance, which leaves him open to offline shots. Despite this vulnerability, Bradley emphasizes that Inoue's zapping punching power drains opponents' energy even through high guards.
So remember, he got the longer reach. He's still at 68 and a half, and not that much, 1 inch. Believe it or not, Inoue got some pretty long arms, for 5'5" at 67 and a half. But there's going to be a height difference, so Inoue is going to have to, punch up, at Nakatani, which could shorten that distance a little bit for him. He's going to have to really step in, and I think that's the beauty about Inoue is adaptability. I know what I'm going to get with Nakatani. Like I can almost predict what I'm going to get with Nakatani. But you can never predict. I mean, you can look at Inoue fights, and This guy doesn't fight the same. Like, he's always adjusting his game according to the style that he's facing. He has that ability because he has athleticism. And we all know what comes with athleticism. Yes, some mistakes do come with athleticism. However, you know, he's able to adapt his style and add to it, take away. Like, I'm like, I have a hard time pinning him down. It's like, damn, he boxes a minute. You know, he could box. He'll get up on his toes, move like Ali, then he'll try to be Mayweather for a second. Like, he gives you so many different looks. He's going to have to give a lot of different looks. And he's going to have to use a lot of feints, a lot of foot feints, body feints and stuff to throw off Nakatani. You know, if you could throw off Nakatani's rhythm, you know, then you make him swing, he misses badly, and then you can step in and you can get to him. You know, nobody's really attacked his body. I think that's where Inoue's going to go. You see that long frame and that torso, he definitely going to go downstairs with that right hand to the body. Like I told you, Nakatani likes to move to his left, right? Usually as a southpaw, you want to try to move as often as you can to the left hand, towards the left hand of the orthodox fighter to get around them. However, Nakatani loves to move to it.
One man will be closely watching this fight on May 2nd. Jesse Bam Rodriguez is in contention to fight Inoue next, and he recently shared his analysis on the matchup. Bam views this as a great fight between two pound-for-pound leaders. He believes the outcome will likely depend on who lands the first significant punch, suggesting a high probability of a knockout. Despite Nakatani's recent tough performance against a pressure fighter, Rodriguez still favors Inoue, noting that Inoue's style is different and better suited for the matchup.
I mean, I'm sure you'll be a very interested observer in the fight next month.
Yeah.
One of the bigger fights in Japan, I can't even remember since when. What do you make of that fight with him and Junto Nakatani?
I think it's a great fight. I think whoever lands the first big punch definitely gonna put the other to sleep. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to. I mean, that's a great fight. They're both pound for pound greats. They're both world champions. So I think this is the kind of fight that, like, whoever lands first is gonna win.
I mean, they were in action in separate fights in Riyadh last year. Nakatani was in really tough. Just squeaked by in that fight. Did you take anything away by watching those two? Did it change your perception of how the fight might play out after watching both of them in their last performances?
No, I mean, before those fights, I was favoring Inoue to win the fight. And then, like I said, those fights didn't change anything. Styles make fights. The guy Nakatani fought was nonstop pressure. I don't think Inoue has that same kind of style.
Yeah.
So, like I said, styles make fights.
Rodriguez remains highly interested in facing the winner, regardless of the location. He views this as the ultimate challenge. Bam Rodriguez is especially interested in the Inoue fight and revealed that he enjoys watching Inoue fight.
Do you think you and Inoue finally getting in there, that's a fight that will define this era in the lower weight classes?
I think so. I think me against Inoue would definitely be, if not one of the biggest fights in the lower weight divisions.
Do you have a preference of where it happens? I mean, obviously, you're with Mr. Honda, so I'm sure there's no issue with if it happened in Japan, but I'm sure you would love for that fight to happen maybe in Las Vegas, maybe California, somewhere where there'd be a big, Mexican-American turnout.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care where it is. I love going to Japan anyway, so if I were to fight out there for the first time, that would be great. But like you said, if it's in the United States, that's great as well, just because there's a lot of Mexican-American fans that will support. So, I mean, it is what it is. Wherever the fight ends up being, I don't care as long as the fight happens.
Have you, because he might be a potential opponent, when you watch his fights, do you sort of like see the openings, things you could pick up on that you're like, oh, I could expose that, or I see a little flaw right there, like my left hook could go in right there?
Honestly, I don't. I just sit back and enjoy the fight. He's a great fighter. All his fights have been exciting, so I just sit back and watch and enjoy the fight.
The Inoue versus Junto Nakatani clash is a super fight with potential for a super fight on the cards. Despite Junto Nakatani being one of the toughest opponents, Inoue will look for nothing more than a victory in hopes of maintaining his pound-for-pound status, and even the future mega fight with Jesse Bam Rodriguez. But we'd love to hear from you. Who do you see winning this fight? Drop your prediction in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.